Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of the Gramcast. So today I want to cover a topic that comes up in all of my lives without fail, in the polls that I do on my Instagram story, in debate and discussion with other people. It always comes up one way or another. So I thought I'd make a video just for this topic, and I've got a DM from a young lady who happens to be in that situation right now, and I'm going to read the DM for you guys so that you can have an understanding of the kind of things that people go through in regards to this topic. And then I'm going to basically give my thoughts and my views on what people should do, and hopefully, you know, those people that are in this scenario or in this situation can look at this video and it can help them. So this is the DM from the young lady. Hi Grams, I came out of a 7-year marriage 2 years ago. I've met 1 or 2 people since then, hoping that something will come out of it. But it seems like every time I mention I've been married before, it puts them off me. That's interesting. One of them even said that my parents wouldn't accept me because of that. What do I do? I'm losing hope. I am a Bengali Muslim, by the way, and so were both of the guys I was chatting to. So you'd think being Muslim, you know, that's all that matters. But that's not the case. We unfortunately live in a society that has a culture whereby it looks down on people like this. And we're going to go into a lot more detail in this video. It's very prevalent within sort of the South Asian community, the Arab community as well, Middle Eastern community, even some other communities that are part of this sort of culture that I've been speaking about a lot on my Instagram live and things like that. So firstly, I want to address the young lady. You've been married. That's not a problem. Don't look at it like it was a waste of time, because nothing is a waste of time. You learn from every single situation. And just like I said in my second episode, God will put you in a situation so that he can teach you something, so that you can learn something, so that you can get a perspective and a purpose and take that on board and create something better in your life, whether it be job related, marriage related, in any sense. So the fact that you've been married before and it didn't work out, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. We come from a culture where there is still a massive stigma around divorce. A massive stigma around divorce, whereby predominantly females are having to stay in unhappy and even in some cases abusive marriages, you know, because where am I going to go if I get divorced? Who's going to want me? Who's going to marry me after that? You know, I'm a divorcee. I'm used up, you know, I'm a shame to my family, and all these things that have been taught wrongfully to them. So what I would like to address with this is very simple. It's very clear cut. There is nothing wrong with the fact that you were married before. There is nothing wrong with the fact that you have decided that for whatever reason, this was too much for me and I need to walk away. Because even if you have children, it is more toxic being in a marriage like that for your children than it is splitting up with your husband or your wife. Because what will happen is, as everybody knows, kids record everything. And if kids see toxicity, it will have massive repercussions on them growing up. So it is more beneficial to get away from that marriage, have an amicable relationship whereby the kids still have both parents, so that you're catering to their needs as well. People have this misconception where they think, oh, but I grew up with both of my parents, so I don't understand how this happened. Just because you grew up with both of your parents and lived with both of your parents, it doesn't mean they were present. Similarly, if you didn't grow up with one of your parents and they were emotionally still catering to your needs, still showing you that love and affection, even though they don't live with you, they are still there. So what I would say is there will be someone out there for you that will appreciate you. There will be someone out there for you that forget the fact that they'll overlook that you were married before. It won't even cross their mind. They'll look at you as someone as, okay, she's been married, big deal. I like her and that's all I care about. And where you are in your life right now, you might think, oh, that sounds so unrealistic. I've tried and I've tried and I've tried. Everyone has a timing. God is the best of planners. He has a plan for you, and you just have to be patient and trust in God. And when He says no, you have to believe in Him and believe everything that He says. So, you've got marriages out there that, they've been together for 15 years. There is no evidence to suggest that just because they've been together that long, that they are for each other. Because they could end up getting divorced, and that person, man or woman, could end up meeting the person after that they were actually supposed to be with. But that 15-year gap was to teach them something. And it sounds far-fetched, but it really isn't. But one thing I want to address that gets me quite triggered actually is we come from a beautiful religion. We come from a beautiful, beautiful religion. And religion doesn't teach us any of this. Religion does not endorse any of this kind of behavior. This is all cultural practices. This is bid'ah. This is innovation. And as much as some of you may know, try to sway away from the religious discussions, one, because I'm not the most knowledgeable. So I try to not get myself into these discussions because I don't have the correct education. But for the stuff that I do know, I discuss. And I'm trying to understand from a parent's perspective how you can love and respect the Prophet, peace be upon him, but then look down on your child because they're a divorcee, or look down on your son because he wants to be with a divorcee. Did you not know that the Prophet, peace be upon him, married a widow? The Prophet, peace be upon him, married a divorcee. But when it comes to your son or your daughter, oh no, I can't have that. Who is your son compared to the Prophet, peace be upon him? Your son isn't even a grain of salt compared to the Prophet, peace be upon him. So the Prophet, peace be upon him, did it, but no, my son can't do it. And this is the mentality that I do not like. Because the greatest man or greatest human being that was ever created did these things. But when it comes to your son, you don't want that for your son. Because you don't want the people back home in your village talking, saying, did you hear so-and-so's son married a divorcee? Did you hear so-and-so's daughter got divorced? Forget the fact she was probably being mentally and physically and even in some cases sexually abused to get out of that marriage. But you as a parent, and I'm not saying all, but a lot of the parents, my daughter, you stay in that marriage. You have to stay in that marriage. I know what he's doing, but you need to understand you can't split up with him. What kind of a mentality is this? Where does it say this in the teachings, in the Islamic teachings? And this is something that I can't accept, guys. I can't accept it. I make videos about relationships and stuff, but we need to try and break these stigmas around culture. We have to do it for the sake of the newer generation, for our children, because this is not correct. We have to go out there and do everything that we possibly can to penetrate the minds of these young people and let them know there is another way. There is another way. Because our parents, regardless of the fact that they know we might be right, they will not change their ways. They are so fixated on that way, they will not change their ways. But for our kids and people that we know, we can help them find another way. And ultimately, don't look down on these young girls that want to find love after a divorce. How can you possibly treat a young woman like that, or an old woman? Age is irrelevant here. A person is a person. You know, you look down on these women, you say they're used up, no one's going to accept you and all these things. And you're from a religion. You are from a religion that the first martyr in the history of Islam was a woman. And she was killed by having a spear shoved into her private parts. The first person ever to die for our religion was a woman. You know, and you want to turn around in 2021 to your daughter and say you're a disgrace. How dare you divorce? And use emotional manipulation to make them feel like they've done something so wrong because they wanted to be out of a marriage that was causing unhappiness to them. Or you want to look down on your son because he wants to marry a woman that's a divorcee. But the Prophet did exactly that. I could go on, I could talk about this all night long, but to this lovely young lady, you know, don't lose hope. You know, don't. And guys, I apologize for coming across aggressive, but we need to save our children, and this isn't the way that we're gonna do it. You know, so to this young lady, I'm sorry that it happened to you, because divorce isn't a good thing. You know, ultimately, it's not a good experience, of course. But if it means getting you out of a situation that's causing you harm or unhappiness, of course you do it. Guy or girl, it makes no difference. But I understand, you know, that it's harder for women, and I can appreciate that. And I thank you for having the courage to reach out to me. And I hope this video will not only just help this young lady who I've spoken to one-to-one actually, but to anybody that's watching this. Do not lose hope. There's someone out there for everyone. God is the best of planners. God does not forget, and he will have something better for you. What you need to do is do not allow people talking left, right and center, whether that be your parents, your siblings, your aunties back home, whoever it is. Do not let them bring you down, because you will not only get through it, but you will find someone that will appreciate you regardless of any of these things. So that was it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Please comment, like and subscribe, and share this to all of the people that you think this might help. Smash that like button. Let's get to 120 likes at least. And I really, really hope you enjoyed this episode. Take care, guys.